Hey, it's DeagleBeagle. So, we're going to be going over Zapdos, and that Pokemon might be decent. It reminds me a lot of Moltres, actually, because you have the ability Static, which is almost always objectively better than Pressure, because it's very rare. It's pretty rare in doubles for them to run out of PP even with pressure. It's gonna take too long. That might be better in singles possibly, but even in singles it's just the pressure ability isn't very good. If it was like they lose, I don't know, 3 PP every hit maybe, and you could take out the moves that are like 8 PP, then maybe, but I would just go static with it. Now, almost all the Zapdoses should have Thunderbolt, Roost, and probably Tailwind, but I suppose you don't have to do it like that. It's just, that's kind of like its niche, is it's a bulky rooster that can just stall as long as possible with static, trying to hope that it gets them paralyzed, and still dishing out attacks and supporting the team. So you could give it leftovers, you could give it whatever, grassy seed with Rillaboom, etc. You wouldn't want to use electric, most likely you could though, for a stab move. You wouldn't want to give it flying, most likely. Air Cutter might not be the best move for it too. It's just, it gets stab, you don't have to use a Terra for it. It hits both opponents, so you could use it like a spread move, because it is a spread move, and it just gives you an option to hit things that Thunderbolt doesn't hit very well. Like Rillaboom, you could hit Landorus a little bit harder, fish for those crits, which would be nice, especially if they had screens up, etc. So, but I'll show you other ones soon. So it is weak to nothing related to electric because it's part flying, but it's weak to rock and ice and not electric. So if you want something that resists rock and ice, steel is one option. I even saw someone commenting on that. But you could also use like Terra Water and then use Terra Water Blast. But yeah, I would use a defensive Terra on Zapdos. You could use Steel. There's nothing wrong with Steel. But it has its resistances, but it also has its weaknesses. And as far as the speed goes, you would have to look at the speed tiers. I know it's base 100, so it ties with some of these Pokemon. I wouldn't make it speedy, most likely anyways, because you're not really using Zapdos to its niche, which is to be kind of like a bulky Moltres with Roost. Just keep roosting, trying to fish for static um, static activations to paralyze them and whatnot. If you use it like an offensive Pokemon, then that's probably foolish, because you could have used like Thundurus T or something, or regular Thundurus instead of that, or Regieleki, or Pokemon that are likely better for that. So the point is to use Pokemon for their niche. Not to say you can only use it like that, but generally you should use it to its niche, use it to its advantage. Don't make it a jack of all trades Pokemon, or make it do something that another Pokemon could do better. So looking at all these Pokemon, it does outspeed Urshifu Rapid Strike. So actually max speed might be pretty good on it. but even still, I don't think I would do that. Maybe, if it's still bulky enough. If you're going to do that, maybe don't make, yeah, actually you could make it both bulky and fast. Like, you don't necessarily need max special attack with it, because you actually might want to outspeed the rapid strike. Come on. Oh yeah, the internet's having, I don't know what's the deal. Figure it out later. So regardless, you could use it like this, but actually I think a speedy one would be better. And Ursafu is what, 150 something? You might want to just outspeed that. Even though there are other base hundreds, so maybe you should just max speed with Zapdos because it's only a few more. So you could use that, and this would do pretty decent. Now I'm going to copy it. But I meant to say that wait, what? Oh, I meant to say that you could use an even bulkier one, like take all this speed out and just use Tailwind or your allies to outspeed them. Make it, well, you could even make it, whatever, like bold, and then use as much bulk as possible. It just depends on how bulky you want to make it and why. So, up to you. Citrus is another option also, but I'm just going to show you a different Zapdos. By the way, I don't think Zapdos is going to be top tier. I think it's more like high tier because it has a specific niche like Moltres. That Moltres is outclassed by Chi-Yu in the case of a fire offensive Pokemon generally, and it's also outclassed by Talonflame if you're trying to primarily use it for Tailwind. But just like Zapdos, if you compare it to Thundurus T, that has so much special attack and slightly better speed that it's probably more designed for that. I'll show you a few more of these. You could use Zapdos as a bulky Pokemon on a rain team and use Hurricane with it. That would be probably better than just using it as a standalone Pokemon and having to resort to something like Air Cutter or Terra Water Blast, even though you could. On a rain team, yeah, you could even use Terra Water Blast, considering how Pelipper already has Tailwind, and give it some coverage and make it do more damage in rain, so that the Pokemon that are immune to like electric or resistant to it, you can hit them hard with a Hurricane if they're grass type to resist it, or if they are like ground type, you can hit them with Terra Water Blast. So this would be pretty good. You could probably even take out the bulk on it, and Thundurus T does not get Hurricane, so you're using it to its advantage. And you could even give it more speed if you wanted to. You could even max the speed on it and give it Timid. That's what I might do. And then maybe even take Roost off and put Detect on. And then give it, yeah, either Leftovers, or you could even give it Life Orb or something. Up to you. So, one way to use Zapdos. But Thundurus T does have more offense. It just doesn't have the coverage though with Hurricane, so that would be the main niche of Zapdos in a rain team. And then there's other ways of using it. Why am I blanking? Let's just look at the moves again. So the good moves would be Detect, possibly Heat Wave, Helping Hand, Hurricane, Roost. Protect is outclassed by Detect slightly. Tailwind, Thunder, Thunderbolt. I don't think I would use Thunder Wave personally, but you could possibly actually use it. It's just normally you would use Thunderous for that because it has priority Thunder Wave. You could use Eerie Impulse with it. Yeah, Eerie Impulse would be pretty good. So those are different ways on how to use it. Charge is another option to raise your special defense and raise your electric power. I believe though it's just... Oh, I guess it's not next turn. I think it's the next... Is it the next turn? I think it's actually the next electric move that's used. Let's double check that. If the user's next move is not electric type, charge no longer wears off. Yeah, see, I remember it being like that, so they must have changed that in Generation 9, and instead remains active for the next move that is. However, if the user attempted to use an electric move, charge will still wear off, even if a condition prevented the move from being used, such as being asleep or flank. Okay, that's not good. But charge is still a good move on it. I believe you can just keep using charges too to like raise your special defense. So on the Roost set, you could even give it more defense than special defense and just try to keep charging and raising your special defense. And I don't know if you can charge multiple times. Let's see. Multiple instances of the charge effect. Using charge multiple times while the ability is normalized or charge followed by an active are not cumulative. The next electric... Okay, so yeah, it looks like you can't just stack charges, but it wouldn't be that much better even if you could. And I don't even know if you would want to, because you would probably want to like hit twice as hard, and then the next hit, I mean, you could hit eventually twice as hard if you charge again, rather than just one hit that takes away all your charge turns that you used. But maybe if you're trying to use it to one-shot something, even that resists it, maybe. So I think those are almost all the ways to use Zapdos. Thanks for watching.